The Crimson Tide have been pretty busy this morning here on Monday. Coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about Jehiem Oatis deciding to enter the transfer portal. Also going to talk about Malachi Moore. He issued an apology this morning about his outburst at the end of that Vanderbilt game. Also kind of want to discuss the offensive line rotation we saw during that Vanderbilt game. Gino Vandermark was kind of going in for Jaden Roberts. So kind of gonna, dive into that and discuss, a little bit about the rotation, give my opinions on that as well. But before we get into the show, want to ask you guys to turn those notifications on. Just because we post a video does not necessarily mean you get a notification sometimes on YouTube. YouTube's kind of weird like that. So go back to where you first subscribed, hit that bell icon, and change those notifications from personalized to all so you guys get a notification every single time we post a video here at the Alabama Football Report. First up on today's show, Pete Thamel just a little while ago reporting that Jehiem Oatis has decided he's going to redshirt the rest of his 2024 season and enter the NCAA transfer portal. Look, and to be completely honest with you guys, I don't really blame him. He's only played 68 snaps so far this season. And, from a guy that, his first two seasons played pretty well for you, yeah, sure, he's been a little bit banged up. I think he's should be playing more than he has so far this season. He was a former top 100 player in that 2022 class. And, look, I just said it a second ago, but I really do not blame him at all. And maybe that's, a bad mindset to have. Maybe you think he's quitting on the team from doing that. I know there's a lot of people out there that definitely do feel that way when guys, enter the transfer portal, especially now. Guys are, before that fifth game that they play, they're deciding they're going to take a redshirt season, save a year of eligibility and go ahead and hit the transfer portal. But look, the way he's been utilized so far this year is just, I don't think that they're utilizing him the way that he should be. I think, the first season, his freshman season, 2022, I thought he played really, really great for you and had a positive outlook to, the future. I think last year, he was very banged up throughout the season, but still was able to contribute pretty decently for you. And this season, look, he's only played 68 snaps so far this season. And as we'll discuss here in a second, there's a lot of guys on this team who have been playing more than him, and I just personally don't think that should be the case. Like I said a second ago as well, I think Jehiem Oatis looks like he is in the best shape of his life. The first couple of games of the season compared to last year, he looks a whole lot slimmer, and it's not, that bad, lose a lot of weight, lose some muscle kind of slim. He looked a whole lot faster out there as well. And I do think, you look back to this past game, I don't think this system really, fits best for what he can do. You got one nose guard, one DT out there. You got Tim Smith playing out there on the edge. I think that's just, a terrible way to utilize some of these defensive tackles that Alabama has on the roster. And if you look at the snap counts from these interior defensive linemen this year, I think Tim Keenan, obviously, he is your best defensive tackle / interior defensive lineman out there. Tim Smith, I think Jehiem Oatis should be playing as much as Tim Smith so far this year. And, whether he's banged up, we're not really sure. Kalen DeBoer talked about the fact that there are a multitude of, different reasons why a guy like Jehiem Oatis could go into the transfer portal. And he did mention health, but look, if it is health, that's one thing, that's fine. But according to Pete Thamel, the main reason was playing time. And if that is the main reason, it seems like, he is pretty healthy. I think he should be playing more than Damon Payne. And, look, James Smith has been pretty solid for you when he's out there, so I don't hate, him playing as much as he has played. But, man, you got to be able to get Jehiem Oatis on the field because, man, he is a force to be reckoned with, and I really do just think it's a real shame. So let me know at the pinned comment, guys, do you guys blame Jehiem Oatis for transferring? Type Q if you think he's quitting on the team, or type N if you think, nah, I don't blame him whatsoever. I don't think he's been playing, as much as he should be, and I don't think he's been utilized as much as he should be. Let me know at the pinned comment of today's show. That ad will probably come here on YouTube. That's totally fine. You can ignore it. Go down there and let me know what you guys think. Next up on the show today, Malachi Moore has issued an apology to both the fans, his teammates, and everybody else, the coaching staff out there, for his outburst at the end of that Vanderbilt game. And I'll be completely honest, before we get into his statement, really the thing that really, makes me more upset about anything, I love the fire. I love, the fact that he's pissed off that they went into that game and ended up losing at the end of the day. But what really pisses me off is the fact that he takes the cheap shot on the quarterback at the end of the game. He kicks the ball that is absolutely ridiculous. And most of all, above anything, when Kane Womack and Kalen DeBoer try to pull him out of the game and sub him, try to cool him off, I'm sure they were just going to talk to him, there on the sidelines. He waves them off and he says, no, I'm not coming off the field. That really pisses me off because, what does that show the rest of your team? Look, Malachi Moore is one of you, he's a two-time captain. He is a fifth-year player. And when those young guys kind of see the way the coaching staff, reacts to that, I don't think it's a very good thing. I think, Kalen DeBoer, Alabama still had one timeout. I would have, I'm not the coach. I don't get paid the big bucks. But I would have called that last time out with a couple seconds left of the game, and I would have sent his ass to the locker room to, let him cool off a little bit. So I just don't really, think that leaving him out there on the field was the right thing to do. This is what Malachi Moore said in his statement that he put out on Twitter today. He said, I want to apologize to my teammates, our coaches, the fans, our alumni, and my family for the way that I acted on Saturday. I was completely out of line, and I let the emotions of the game get the best of me and put myself before the team. As a two-time captain and a fifth-year player, I understand the standard that we are expected to live up to at Alabama, and I failed to do so by acting in a selfish and unacceptable manner. I came back this season to represent myself, this team, and this university because it means something to me. I am blessed to be able to wear the A on my chest, and I know all that comes with the responsibility of representing the program. I will do better to uphold the Alabama standard moving forward, and I will continue to work and improve while conducting myself in a first-class manner. We'll talk a little bit more, my opinions on Malachi Moore's statement here in just a second, but first, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor today, Game Time. They have a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff to show you only the incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is just curation that makes it easier to save more on sports, concert, comedy, theater, and so much more. Game Time has killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time even has ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. And guess what? If you find tickets in the same section or row for less, Game Time will actually credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Check out GameTime.co for last-minute tickets. Terms do apply, but again, create an account and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. That link will be in the comment section and the description of today's video. Download Game Time today, because what time is it? It's game time. Look, before I go into anything else about Malachi Moore, I just want to say I appreciate the statement that he puts out there. Look, he's a good kid at the end of the day. His emotions got the best of him. He's raised by a good family. He's been a leader for this team for a very long time. So I do just want to preface, what I'm about to say with that. But look, I don't need an apology. I don't need him to go out there and put out a statement. What I need Malachi Moore to do is, if his team wants an apology, fine, that's great. Go apologize to the team, do your sprints, do your community service, whatever you got to do. But I don't need an apology personally, and maybe that's dumb to think. Maybe you guys want an apology from him. That's fine to think too. But what I need from Malachi Moore is for him to step up and make plays during the game when the game is actually happening. You go back to that Vanderbilt game, and look, he didn't get targeted a ton, but, he did allow that touchdown. I think it was that 4th and 1 long, touchdown, that was on him. And whether that was, a busted coverage, whether or not that wasn't supposed to be his guy. Not really sure, but he was the closest guy to the play, and he got burnt on the play. So, I mean, look, that's what I need from Malachi Moore. I need him to go out there and make plays because, he's a two-time captain. He's a fifth-year player. He's supposed to be one of the best players in your defensive backfield and on your team just in general. Look, that outburst should not have happened on the field at the end of the game. That outburst probably should have happened in the locker room at halftime because Alabama was getting their asses beat all first half. It should not have happened at the end of the game. Look, the days of the locker room boxing, accountability, look, they're just over right now. You listen to some of those old guys, Mark Ingram, some of those other guys talked about the fact when guys got out of line, when guys weren't doing what they were supposed to do, they would handle it the old-fashioned way. And maybe you think it's barbaric, that's whatever. This is football. These guys are supposed to be tough. These guys are crazy. That's why they play football. And look, I just don't think, the days of those accountability, boxing matches in the locker room are really happening anymore. And honestly, I think that's really the only thing that really needs to come back and really needs to happen because this team, and really it's not just this year. It started, a few years ago after that 2020 team. You really haven't, really seen that toughness that you saw from a lot of those Alabama teams. And that happened the last couple years under Nick Saban as well. So it's not just a Kalen DeBoer issue, but it definitely needs to be fixed. So let me know, guys, in the comments section. Personally, my answer to this is no. I would rather have him, be accountable in some kind of other way. But it's a democracy. I want to hear from you guys in the comments section. Do you think Malachi Moore should be suspended? Type 1 for yes or 2 for no. Whether that's just a quarter or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Just, miss some playing time. My answer is no, but let me know in the comments section what you guys think. All right, one of the last things we want to talk about on today's show before we wrap up is this offensive line rotation. Was a little bit different during that Vanderbilt game. Alabama deciding to go with Geno Vandermark, rotating him in along with Jaden Roberts. And really, I don't think it made any kind of difference in this game. This is what Nick Sheridan, Alabama's offensive coordinator, said today about the decision to play Geno Vandermark in this game. He said, "We're going to continue to put players in the game that earned that in practice. We thought Geno deserved an opportunity to play." And look, that's fine. This coaching staff is the ones who are, watching these guys practice throughout the week. And maybe he is going out there and having, exceptional practices throughout the week. But watching that game live, I did not think Jaden Roberts was really doing anything to deserve really being pulled out of that game. Look, and he did extremely well in pass protection. And look, the PFF stats, they could be taken with a grain of salt sometimes. But, look, at the end of the day, putting Geno Vandermark in there did not help you one bit, especially in the run game, something that you were definitely struggling in on Saturday. And I just really do not get the move whatsoever. I mean, look, Geno Vandermark, we've seen him for a couple of games now, both at left guard and right guard. And to me, he's just Darian Dalcourt 2.0. He's a very decent backup. If, somebody goes down, you got to throw somebody in there. But he's not a starter at the end of the day. And sure, Jaden Roberts has not had as good as a season as he did last year. Maybe that can be turned around. Maybe, putting Geno Vandermark in the game is just kind of that swift kick in the ass that he needs to really take over and be that Hulk that we knew Jaden Roberts was last year. But look, the offensive line is a very special position. They need some continuity. They have to play together. And when you're going out there and you're rotating guys during this game that, you're losing, and to be honest, I didn't think Jaden Roberts was doing anything to, deserve to be pulled out of this game. So, it's a very big question mark for me why they decided to put Geno Vandermark in there when Jaden Roberts was playing just fine. Because, look, Vandermark didn't really help anything out either. So apparently it is a battle at right guard now, a couple games into the season, now going into week 6. So let me know who should be playing right guard. Type J if you think it should be Jaden Roberts, or type G if you think it should be Geno Vandermark. Last thing on today's show before we get out of here, we got some updates. Game time for that Tennessee game, third week in October. or third Saturday in October, excuse me. That game is going to kick off at 2:30 Central Time. It's also going to be played on ABC, but that news came out today, so I wanted to cover it, but really got to focus on South Carolina this week, bouncing back after that just horrible loss against Vanderbilt this past weekend.